Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Timely Action Hour podcast. This is the show where we talk about everything from Star Wars to comics and everything in between. My name is Aiden. I hope that you're doing very well today. Today we are on Season 2, Episode 14, Every Form of Lightsaber Combat. So at the time of recording, it is the 12th of January 2023. So Happy New Year, and I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. And I've recently been on a Star Wars kick. I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube about Star Wars lore and fan creations, stuff like that. And I rewatched Return of the Jedi a couple of weeks ago because it's one of my favorite films, and I've seen it like a million times. So I wanted to, but it's been a few years, so I wanted to watch it again. And I've been rewatching the 2008 Clone Wars show, and afterwards I want to rewatch the 2003 Clone Wars. And so in my last episode, I talked about the different lightsaber colors, so I wanted to talk about the different versions of lightsaber combat. So I thought that this would be a good follow-up to that. So there are 7 forms of lightsaber combat dating back thousands of years within the Star Wars universe, and there are very few people who have mastered all 7 forms, but we do see and follow some of the main people who have. There was Jedi Grandmaster Yoda, the Dark Lord of the Sith Darth Sidious, also known as the Emperor, their students Darth Maul, Luke Skywalker, Darth Tyrannus, aka Count Dooku, and Jedi Master Mace Windu. And these 7 forms do differ in what it entails. So some are more up close and personal, some are more acrobatic, some are more defensive, some are more aggressive. So I just wanted to do a breakdown for you if you were interested in learning about how Jedi and Sith fight each other and the greater galaxy around them. So Form 1 is the most rudimentary form. It's called Shi Cho, and this is what everyone learns when they first pick up a lightsaber. And it's, defending and attacking, simple blocks and parries and attacks. Then we go on to Form 2, Makashi. This is a much more refined and elegant way of dueling. So the most famous duelist to use Makashi was Count Dooku, who was trained by Jedi Master Yoda, and who then fell to the dark side and became Darth Tyrannus. And Makashi is basically fencing, but in space. And this is very, very swift movements, but also very powerful movements. And again, we most famously see this used by Sir Christopher Lee's character in the films. Then we go on to Form 3, Surisu, and the most famous practitioner of that is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was hailed as the master of this form by Jedi Master Mace Windu. Now, Surisu is a much more defensive and quick form of combat. It's used to deflect blaster bolts and lightsaber blades, but it also has very quick and decisive counters and attacks. And it's just really interesting to see how you can swing your lightsaber around and block various different projectiles coming your way. And then we have Form 4, Ataru, and this was most famously utilized and mastered by Qui-Gon Jinn. And this is what most people would use if you're fighting against an opponent who also has a lightsaber. So during the Duel of the Fates, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan used this against Darth Maul. And then we go on to Form 5, Xian and Jem So. Now, Shienso is much more um, quick and up close and personal. For an example, when Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting Dooku in Revenge of the Sith, Anakin uses Shienso against him. And it's very powerful movements and attacks. And then Gemso utilizes that principle, but also implements very quick counters and parries and very strong defense as well as a strong offense. And after Anakin falls to the dark side, becoming Darth Vader, and is severely wounded, he uses Gemso as his preferred method of fighting. Then we have Form 6, which is called Naman, which is very acrobatic, which Maul used against Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon in The Phantom Menace. And then we have Form 7, which is Juyo, or some people call it Vapad, which Mace Windu used against the Emperor in Revenge of the Sith. And the Emperor, again, used that against Mace Windu. Now, the Emperor, as I said, had mastered all 7 forms, and so did Mace. But Form 7, when used by Mace, was mixing the dark and the light side of the Force and matching your opponent's dark side if you were a Jedi and using that against them. It's sort of like Japanese Aikido in the real world. And using one's energy against your opponent. And it's just very cool to think about how Mace was drawing energy from the Emperor to fight him, which is how they stayed, pretty on par with each other during the match. Because earlier at the start of the duel, the Emperor just quickly executed 3 Jedi Masters, including my main man Kit Fisto, R.I.P. F in the chat for him. And Mace only survived because he had mastered all 7 forms and drew from the Emperor's dark side power to match him and survive as long as he did, until Darth Vader showed up. And like I said, very few people have mastered all 7 forms, but it's very cool to think about how the intricacies differ between each form. So, thank you for listening to this episode of the National Timely Action Hour podcast. Once again, my name is Aiden, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. If you are new to this podcast, please subscribe and listen to more episodes about Star Wars, Star Trek, comic books, video games, and related film and television shows. So, have a great one. Bye.